Yeah, I mean, a fascinating story, but again, it's one of those things that as drivers, right? We this is our job, right? This is our profession. Like you want it to be, but for many years growing up, you're not getting paid to do what you love to do, right? And you like to do this job, but if one route closes, you have to go where you can make a living and sustain life, like doing what you do, right? And that's and it's something that it might not have been ideal, but in the end, like we still love driving race cars, right? So you figuring out your niche, you're figuring out where, like, hey, I'm going to be the guy here. Like, I'm going to be making money here. I'm going to do what I love to do at a certain level. And it worked out, right? You ended up, the BMW thing that you started ended up leading to your next relationship that leads to the next relationship. And then in the end, you're now at the top, like a top level open wheel racing series again. You know what I mean? You never know where life can take you.
No, exactly. I mean, God, this time last year, I had no idea I'd be, I think this time last year, I hadn't even driven an IndyCar ever.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's just wild how things work. And I mean, this whole thing kind of started with what, I've kind of done for Mike and Jim and everyone at, MSR over the past, 24 months sort of thing. Because yeah, this was just started as a thought, right? As a
Yeah,
maybe.
I want to get into that. So at what point did you, because like I would cut off my pinky finger to get to drive for Michael Shank Racing again. And like Meyer Shank, like great operation. When did that conversation start? Like what was the first, like did you just look over at Mike and be like, I mean, if there was an opening, I wouldn't mind getting back in there. Like, how did that conversation start? Just to let people know, because obviously, that he had Simon and Elio there, and obviously, two older drivers who have been experienced, but at some point there may be a change. When did that conversation at least be like, hey, I don't know what the future is there, but let me know if there's maybe a chance.
Yeah, I mean, so I joined. It was actually about this time 2021, when I went over to test for Mike at Atlanta in the sports car. One thing led to another, and we were like, yeah, this is, let's do this. Like I signed up with him for the sports car program. At that time, like, I mean, obviously, I've followed IndyCar since I was like a kid. I grew up in New Zealand. Scott Dixon was a big hero. I remember watching Elio climb the fence. Man, I even
Yeah.
remember watching Elio's MTV Cribs episode back in like God knows when that was. Like I used to love that show.
I did not know that
MTV,
existed, but
bro,
I
you gotta
can't
look.
wait to find that on the
MTV,
internet.
you gotta find that MTV Cribs, man. It's brilliant.
Oh
Oh man,
man.
I was like, damn, these guys earn so much. Man, that's such good life. Um,
They earned way more
anyway,
money back in that day.
oh, yeah, yeah, his house was sick. No, anyway, getting back to the point. Yeah, so it when I first started with them, the beginning, even the first half of 2021, like it wasn't really I was following the team. You know, I was watching IndyCar like more closely just because of the relationship I had with the team. And I was like, man, I want to, yeah. I kind of said to him once, like, man, you got to give me, I want to have a go. And like, I think I just
Yeah.
said, like, almost as not as a joke, like it was half joke, half serious. It was like, you need to give me a go in an IndyCar, in one of these cars. And, IndyCar, they have that like
The rookie
rookie,
driver. Yep. The rookie driver
yeah, that you
test.
can kind of, yeah, exactly. And he did say like, well, we do get this, rookie day. Let's kind of see how you get on this year, sort of thing. It kind of went like that, and obviously, we started to have a really good year, and I think it was a little bit like he almost wanted to reward me for that
Yeah, of
at the
course.
same time as like, hey, he's done a great job here. He did do this his whole like, he grew up going
You
down
were an
this
open
route.
wheel guy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like it's a foreign thing for him. He's been successful in these sorts of types of cars. Okay, it was a while ago. Yeah, let's give it a shot. Maybe there is something that can lead to something. And
Yeah.
I did that test, and the test went all right. I mean, I was at Sebring, the short track. Obviously, I know that track, quite well, having driven sports cars so many times. And yeah, the test went good, and I kind of was like, man, this is cool. Like, I'd love to, give this a go. I'd be serious about this. So I was kind of like pushing them a little bit, like, yeah, if there's ever a chance for me in this, like,
Yeah.
I'm ready. I want to do it. And then it just, went into this year and kind of started the year well, and it just kind of slowly went, this led one thing just kind of led to another and said, maybe there's a possibility here. And it just kind of started to gather traction as the year went on, and here I am.
Yeah.
So like, we knew it wasn't, we didn't, it's kind of that's the best way to put it is, we don't expect like fireworks straight away, right? It was, both of us were pretty realistic. But this is like this challenge, in racing and life, and
Oh yeah.
I've kind of been doing the similar thing for so long now. Like I feel like I'm in such a comfortable environment in my sports car. This is like a whole new challenge. It's like, man, I'm pumped for it. I'm
Yeah.
freaking excited, and I'm kind of. It feels like I'm starting from a place that I'm not, I don't like being, where I am, sort of thing. So it's like having something to work for is pretty exciting again.
Yeah, and sorry about the emergency service. I think Ben, you must have got that too on
Scared
your
the
phone.
crap out of me.
Yeah,
I'm awake now.
I think the entire
Oh, good.
United
What's going
American
on?
States,
Like
we were all
storm?
supposed to get an emergency. No, the entire country was supposed to get a test message about some emergency system. So
Oh yeah, I
now
saw that on the
we
news actually.
we know that the
I think I
government
saw
has
that.
access to our phones. That's awesome.
Yeah,
But
man,
getting back
they're
to
for sure spying on you.
getting
For
back to that.
sure.
So what has been the biggest, the toughest part, right? Because the IndyCar right now, as we both know, is I would say, if it is not the most competitive racing series in the world, I'd like to know what is. Certainly on the open wheel side, right? Formula One is a different world. You've got one team that wins, except for Carlos Sainz. Great job, homie. He broke the Red Bull streak.
Oh,
Love to
Chile.
see that. Yep. But and NASCAR is again a completely different world. That's very competitive on its own right, right? But IndyCar, when it comes to the amount of teams, the amount of drivers, it's so competitive. So what has been the most challenging thing so far, right? It's actually probably great that you got a couple races just to dabble, right? Hey, like I'm gonna check it out. I already know that I've got a job, which is that's the best thing in the world, right? The best feeling in the world that, hey, I've got a job next year. I'm going to get a couple practice rounds in. So what has been the most challenging thing so far that you think, hey, for next year, this is where I'm going to start attacking, to try to work on that?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I totally agree. I think, after experiencing it now, and I mean, in my opinion, yeah, I think it's got to be, Formula, you can't compare to Formula One, right? Because of the cars, it's such a big delta. Like, it's not comparable. But the level of drivers in the series with the teams, how close everyone, man, I think it's got to be up there. If not, I tend to agree. I think Will Power said it a few times, but man, I tend to agree. Like, it's ruthless. Like, it's brutal. It's, these guys, and experience, like, the experience counts in this series as well, right? Still see these, old legends, put like sticks. I mean, the guy does it all the time, right? And
yeah,
you got the young, you got the youth, you got the speed, you got you got the old wise foxes. Like it's full, it's stacked of talent. And man, it was hard. And I think for me, the biggest thing is just that my connection with the car at the moment, right? Like my feeling. I've been so used to, I keep talking about the way the prototypes and the cars with power steering react. I'm used to driving super smooth, being super precise. The cars that I drive are very pointy. So like you have to be super slow. You almost like slow your reaction with the wheel down on purpose, because otherwise, the thing's too reactive. Whereas in IndyCar, it's the complete opposite. What I found myself, I've struggled more as the speeds come up, like the higher the speed corner, the slower I am with the car. So the slower I am with the wheel, getting the car positioned exactly how I wanted to position it, just because I'm not used to putting in that aggressive sort of force on the wheel. And
and the physical force too.
Exactly. So the physical force that I feel through the car, I'm just not used to having that feeling, because at the moment it feels like I'm questioning myself a bit. Is this car going to stick? Is it going to snap? And because I'm not used to that extra force, I feel like it's going to snap, and I'm not ready to correct it because of how heavy everything is, right? And that, like, just from my Portland race to Laguna felt like a whole different, like even just having that first race and in that week, it was like, man, this is so much easier the second time around. I'm still not where I want to be, but I was like, well, this is so much more natural. So there's so much more, and having done those races, it's a huge benefit for me, like mentally knowing what to expect, what to prepare, how to prepare my body, and all these things going into next season. So that's definitely helped. But yeah, it was a bit of a shock to the system, I have to say. Like, to be honest, I was hoping for a little bit more, but I felt like the trajectory was in the right way. It's just I got to give myself this time over the season, over the winter to get in shape, get ready. But man, I'm pumped for the challenge because I've read some there's been some stuff online and stuff. It's funny to read that, but yeah, like it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool, and hopefully we'll figure it out.